know. Love is like taking a dump, Butters. Sometimes it works itself out, but sometimes you gotta give it a nice, hard, slimy push.
Oh, hey, Nicole. Coach wants you to take these to the boys' locker room.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Guys, get outside. It's the Batmobile. Batmobile, you guys.
Where? I don't see a Batmobile.
Hello? Ah! Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Where is everybody? What's going on?
Coach wanted me to. I'm sorry.
Hey, guys, hold up. Hey, you're kind of friends with that Nicole girl, right?
Yeah.
Well, what kind of stuff does she like? Do you know?
She likes movies, cats.
Sprint 4G LTE, it's not going to be unlimited for too long. It can't be. Unless somehow they have fiber optic cables go into that shit, and they have about 40 or 50 of them going into it per tower, because in this city everybody's with Sprint or Boost Mobile. And good luck. I mean, good luck pertaining speeds like this. So I'm just telling you right now that LTE is not going to be as good as I thought it was going to be. The spectrum is going to be a little bit higher. Unless they can manage and throttle people, it's going to be pretty bad. The speed-wise, it's not going to be as good as it should. There's going to be a lot of LTE users, and I already know that there's going to be a lot because I was one. And now, you know, whew, good luck, Sprint. That's all I'm going to say is because, I mean, well, even when Sprint fully launches the LTE services, they're going to have to do caps because, I mean, it's just not feasible to have LTE services unlimitedly, because the thing is that the spectrum is going to be a little bit higher, so it's not going to penetrate as easily unless they can acquire a 700 megahertz frequency like Verizon. During peak times, and this is if you're lucky, near the tower, and this is about 4 or 5 different towers that we've been on every side of the city. The max download speeds we've seen on 3G is 0.4 to 0.5 to 0.8 megabits down, and 0.01 megabits up. That's the slowest I've seen, and 0.4 up, the fastest upload I've seen, and that's not even during peak time. During peak time, 0.11 down and 0.07 up. That's almost dial-up speeds. And that's all because the Sprint towers just cannot handle the capacity of all the users unlimitedly downloading and stuff. I know it's slow, but it's unlimited. That's the only advantage. I would rather be fast and cap because I don't use it extreme like some people shouldn't be doing in the first place. That's where you got home connections for, unless you're living in the country or in small suburbs or something. If you're a trucker, you're going to use 3G a lot, not 4G LTE. Regardless, that the Verizon's LTE, 3G is not used that much because the LTE is now covered in most markets. So the 3G will be faster in most areas that have LTE. So the trucker can seamlessly connect to whatever, you know. So some people go all around the country, they have connections just about everywhere except for the desert areas and the mountainous areas, but very few. Cell phone coverage is almost perfect in all major accessways and roadways and highways. One of the truckers I talked to said that they got connections directly. There was a signal until they hit about the Hoover Dam, and then it went out. That was the only place they've noticed that it's gotten hit. They've been to Wyoming, Montana, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, and there's about coverage everywhere except near the Hoover Dam. Within a 40-mile radius, it seems to have no service. It'll say no service on the phone, and that's with the current latest and greatest, I guess you could say. There is spotty coverage in the deserts areas. If you're driving from like Los Angeles to Las Vegas, we never lost a signal, but that was with Sprint. So I'm pretty sure Verizon has that covered too. There is coverage in the Verizon market just about everywhere Sprint is. However, Sprint has contracts that'll say roaming. You're using your minutes, so it's pretty much the same thing. It'll just say roaming. But Verizon, you seamlessly connect. In other words, you either connect or you don't connect. because they own the towers more than Sprint does. Now, I love Sprint. I tested out their LTE services, and it's not as good as it should be. The range on it is not as good as the Verizon tower. One tower can go at least 1.5 miles to 2 miles to 2.5 miles to 3 miles. Furthest away I've ever seen one connection to an LTE network before it switched over to 3G was about 3.5 to 4 miles. That's the furthest I've ever seen it, and I was only getting like maybe 2.5 megabits down and 2 megabits up. And that's even as far away, but the ping time was a lot higher because you technically are further away. You have less signal. So it was about 230 milliseconds, but it's still connected. There's another problem with the LTE services that will be with Sprint. Demand. There'll be too many people on that network at the same time, and it's just going to be unbearable. So, yeah, good luck. Whew, man, I can only imagine how many users will be using the 4G WiMAX. They're going to take that down soon, in the next couple of years, because they have to replace all the phones with the LTE services. And it won't be unlimited. I just guarantee you it's not going to be unlimited unless they can somehow pay billions of extra dollars to have extra fiber go into those towers. If they could do that, then maybe they can pull it off. But I mean, you're going to have at least, with everybody I know, there's at least 1,000 Sprint customers, including Boost Mobile. And most people here in the south side of the city have Boost Mobile, or AT&T, or Sprint, period. So that tower is definitely being overused, because when I was with the 3G and the 4G, I was only getting 2.5 megabits down and 0.05 up, 0.50 up. So that was near the tower, not like underneath it, but like maybe about less than 1,000 feet. And even being that close to that Ting tower, the max I would get would be 2.5 megabits down and 0.050 up. That's all I could get next to the damn tower. Even with Clearwire, the same thing as Sprint. So, both the 4G and the 3G just sucked. Also, the LTE services when near the tower, I'd get about 50 megs down, and max I'd get is about 5 megabits up. Now with Verizon, I don't need to be near the tower. The Sprint just does not have the money, because even though they're unlimited, if they don't go unlimited, they'd have more money to spend on infrastructure, because I know Sprint are money hogs, I know Verizon is money hog, I know AT&T is money hogs, and I know they're all money hogs, except the problem is that with Sprint, there's unlimited, and I have to go with Verizon on this one. I don't care how cheap the plans are. The internet, the wireless internet is just, with this network, is not made for gamers. It's not made for heavy download, even though they have the speeds. It's not consistently consistent. Now, the speeds like in Sweden, yes, those are made for gaming. Those are made for downloading, because they have the capacity, because they actually pay the money to have the towers infrastructured with the fiber optic cabling provided necessary for everybody to go at full speeds all the time. And that's with hundreds of people using it at the same time. You could be anywhere in Sweden, and you'll get that wireless connection of over 80 to 100 megs a second down and 40 to 50 megabits up easily. Look it up. And France too, even France, they're all infrastructure, but because the United States is so big, that's a lot of freaking markets to cover, which Sweden does not have to. That's why they can do the infrastructure. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is, good luck having these type of speeds. Even, I mean, anything above 5 megs a second, I think, is unbelievable for a wireless connection. Anything above 1 megabit per second is really fast for a wireless connection, period. Your chances of having these type of speeds after everybody gets LTE services integrated is going to be a lot lower. I mean, you're lucky if you'll get 3 or 4 megabits down. You'll have better coverage, but you won't get the speed like Verizon, because everybody is scared to go over, and unlimited customers at moment of 2012 are being throttled after a certain amount of gigabytes. Sprint is starting to do that. I've seen some people being capped at 0.5 megabits down, even near the towers, and 0.5, or the upload is higher than the download speeds. So, yeah, good luck, Sprint, because you definitely ain't going to be able to do it. I mean, Unless they can pay for thousands upon hundreds of thousands of dollars to lay out all that fiber for that tower. There was only I saw only two fiber optic lines go into that LTE tower. That's all I saw there. That's not enough. Verizon has 6 of them. Verizon has 6 LTE, 6 fiber optics going to that one tower. I saw it, and they're fiber optic lines coming from the telephone poles, and some of them on some different times they're coming under the ground. The fiber optic cabling you can definitely see going up to those towers. Those are what produces the speed, because you got to have all that bandwidth. I mean, the fastest upload I've seen on Verizon is 22 megabits upload on any tower, and the fastest download I've ever seen is 61 megabits per second. And this is at nighttime, but not during the daytime. I get about 40 to 50 megabits per second on certain towers. This one does not do it for some reason. Maybe there's too many people on it, or it just does not have that capability of going that fast. But the downtown towers, the fastest I've seen is 60 megabits down and 22 megabits up. So those towers are really good, and I wasn't even near it. I don't even know where it's at actually. Sprint, however, is not going to go that fast, no matter what anybody says, unless they can get the spectrum. Not only the spectrum, but they can handle all that capacity and throttle heavy usage users. Because I mean, you're wireless. You're not wired. It's like connecting to a big router. You can only have so much going through that gigabit router, you know, before it starts to go and slows down. That's exactly what's going to happen with the Sprint. But since it's unlimited, nobody's capped, so nobody's worried about using too much data. So in actual terms here, the Sprint will be slower than Verizon. Not at first, but as time goes by, it'll slow. Once it's loaded with LTE users, and it's unlimited, people are going to be streaming Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, and that's going to use all of the bandwidth and watching videos. Once that starts happening, and it's LTE, it's unlimited, it's going to slow that tower down a lot, and it's just like a big router. It's going to slow the F down. Now with Verizon, you're capped, so people are a little bit more worried about using all their data, so they don't really use the tower that much, so you have all that bandwidth. That's why Verizon has these caps in the first place. I'm not trying to defend Verizon, I'm just saying that's what everybody's been telling me, is that they use it because they want to keep the towers free and clear of congestion, and try not to have congested towers. In areas where they know congested towers they'll upgrade and put more fiber optic lining for more bandwidth per tower. That's what I've been hearing, but towers that are not used that much, they won't upgrade. Remote cities, like little cities and stuff that have LTE services, they're really used, actually. You would be surprised. Guy said, one of the engineers that called me from Verizon said that one tower in a small city, that's all they need, because it's a small city. Like less than 20,000 people, they only need one tower. It covers it perfectly. They do have backup generators and stuff like that in case the power gets knocked out. Thing is, they only have 3 fiber optic cable lanes going to it, and sometimes it's not even fiber optic, they said. They said sometimes they just use coaxial cable to a large telephony modem. That's some sort of telephony modem, like a server modem, it says. That's what he said. And it just transfers to the tower, and they use coax so to get that speed. Sometimes one tower can only have 300 megabits per second, and some towers 500 megs, and some towers 1 gigabit uplink, and that's all they have for that whole tower. And I was surprised to hear that. But in the bigger cities, the uplink speeds are 10 gigabits per second, and some in major metropolitan areas like New York are 100 gigabits per second. That's because they have all these fiber optic lining cables going through it, and even then, it's slow because there's so many users. So Sprint has to take that in consideration to upgrade all those freaking cell phone towers in New York City, especially. I mean, these towers have to be major, especially in New York City, for Sprint to cover the whole thing. So that's my opinion on it. That's my take. I mean, think about it. Do you really believe that Sprint will be as fast as Verizon, unless they actually care about the speed and quality, instead of just caring about having unlimited customers? Now, I know that unlimited kicks out a lot of ass, but I've been through this city. I've been to Dayton, Ohio. They didn't even have 4G. I've been to New Carlisle, Ohio. They didn't have 4G. They only had 3G, and it was slow. The fastest I get is 0.8 to 0.9 to 1 megabit per second. That's too slow for 3G. you guys can understand that it won't be as fast as Verizon for too long. As soon as the LTE customers come in, boom, it's over. I mean, there is no doubt about it. I mean, it's gonna slow down a lot. Like it's not even gonna go to that kind of speed like Verizon can because of no caps. I mean, unless they can put out 10 to 15 fiber optic cables to one tower, good luck. I mean, they're gonna use that data up like nothing. And then people are gonna switch over because they think that Verizon sucks and it's gonna slow it down even more. And good luck. That's all I can say. Thank you guys for watching. And if you're a Sprint fanboy, well, I'm just letting you know it's going to slow down. And the thing is, you know, Verizon's actually rushing to get the LTE down to more markets, and Sprint is not. Maybe because of funding, but it doesn't matter. I mean, they already got the permission from the FCC to put the towers up. They're taking their sweet time. I don't appreciate that, and that's why I canceled.